Welcome to Affiliate Nerd Out, and this is the conference review of IPX section. Joining me today, Dan Sweeney, old friend from CJ, Lauren Eckert, amazing new friend that I met at the conference. Thanks for joining me too. Welcome to the Nerdatorium.
Oh yeah.
Great to be here.
Awesome. And today we're going to go review and break down what we saw over at IPX. Almost 2 weeks ago now, but it was a great event for me. I don't know how you guys took it on, but I was really impressed by the venue, the layout, everything out there in Austin, Texas was a great event. How did the event go for you guys overall?
You want to go first, Dan?
I mean, sure. First of all, I'll say Tex-Mex is not as good as Californian Mexican food. Like, it just isn't. So,
Bull.
I'm just going to go right there and say cold flour tacos are not the way to go. You need to have a nice warm corn taco if you're going to have it. So
Okay.
I'm a little down on that. But overall, it was really good. It was a really fun event. I think they did a really good job putting it on.
Love the shots fired at Texas over here. Lauren, you're in Texas, so you're susceptible to that opinion of Tex-Mex being better. But Dan is correct.
You would agree being on the West Coast, but we're both incorrect. You're both wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Well, agree to disagree very early on. But Lauren, from the perspective of an influencer going to there, can you showcase what your experience was?
So I went as a UGC creator thinking that my influencer platform wasn't the right fit for that area, and I couldn't be more wrong. I think both of those places had their space there as an influencer or a UGC creator. I also went in with the opinion of I don't need to talk to any other creators. Like, there's no point. I couldn't be more wrong about that.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite parts about the conference were the other creators that I met, and how different everybody's doing things. And, this is probably the only community where we can all band together, and our differences are what makes us stronger is how we are different.
I would add on to that a little bit and just say, like, talking to both sides, I always enjoy talking to other publishers, even competitive publishers. And I've actually found a bunch of either interesting insights or ways that we can collaborate at different times by talking to folks like that. And I've also, talking to creators that Lauren and I met there at the same time that you met. And I think it's always great because you get this blending of information that's coming from different places. And I think everyone can find something to improve their game on about.
Yeah, we're still talking. Like, the creators I met there, we are still talking to each other almost daily. And we've found ways that we can lift each other up. And when we're lifting each other up, we're lifting the whole community in return. So we're not competitors, we're coworkers in every sense of the way.
Yeah, agreed. There's plenty of work to go around. No brands ever said, "Oh, we've got too many influencers promoting our product." So I thought it was incredibly smart from Impact's perspective from what I heard, they invited tons of influencers to come to this event, and that makes great meetings for the brands, makes a great experience for the agencies trying to get a hold of some of these creators that they might not have got a hold of in the past. And also, like, that community aspect of the influencers was something that was surprising to me. Like, you guys all banded together at that conference, and like, you were going to those sessions, which were pretty outstanding from what I heard. I stopped in a couple of them.
Yeah, it was so unbelievable. And I have to be so honest, I did not know what impact.com was before I went to that conference.
There you go.
I signed up after meeting Jeff at Carpenter Hall, which was like the impromptu happy hour that they did for creators. And that's where I met like some of the first creators that I really like bonded with. And then Jeff from Impact, who's on the creator team. It was beyond my wildest dreams and expectations. I felt like I was living out my dreams. Every moment of that conference was incredible.
Yeah. And then we met up at the last day and talking about like your experience. And I was blown away that you were converting into everything affiliate, like your entire game plan of all your creation you were very motivated by the end of this conference, which is, I think, more than IPX could have ever imagined.
Oh yeah, I mean, after attending this session, I was thinking about affiliate partnerships so wrong. Um, and then like Truly Free is the greatest example. You asked me, do I know who Truly Free is? Of course I do. I use it every single day. And so the strongest, I always say as a UGC creator that the strongest creative director that they're ever going to have is somebody who's already a fan of their brand. But as an affiliate, we're already like living their brand. We are their target market. And I left Impact as a Fanatics affiliate and a Fabletics affiliate.
Okay.
And those are two brands that I already live them. So it's easy to share with my audience as an influencer or use some creative, like more polished ads as a UGC creator. I mean, I will never work the same after that conference. It was life changing.
Amazing. That's a great video clip for them to be utilizing next year, I would say.
Clip that, post it.
Dan, what are your thoughts? Like venue wise, like everything go well for you? Like, were you able to book a lot of meetings yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think the venue's a nice venue. I would say like they've improved it year on year. The downside was there was a lot less seating this year than there was last year. They put sort of the whole middle in, so they could do a little bit more seating. But overall, I think it was great. Things went faster than I was expecting them. So when you book a table with somebody to have a meeting, there'd be like 15 people in line, but generally that went really quickly. So they did a good job at getting those booked meeting tables going. I do think they probably made the meeting times too big. Like the app itself was an improvement over last year's app, which was terrible. And then this year was an improvement, but it didn't take into consideration all of your time schedule. So if you book, like I want to go see this talk, when you would then try and go in and book a meeting, it wouldn't look at that schedule. It would only, I actually don't know how it was pulling. It was very strange. And so you had to really finesse that a lot more to get meeting times. And the meeting times were all 30-minute meetings, which, that's nice, but sometimes you only need 10 minutes to meet someone and kick off a relationship with them.
Very true. And that's up to you as the meeting connection there. You can shut that meeting off as soon as you need. I had a lot of conversations that could have gone over 30 minutes with people that I was hanging out with though too. So like I like the possibility of a full 30 minutes, but you can absolutely wrap it up in 15 if you need to. But I really did love the organization of the people that were at the table guardians, essentially. They were putting people in the right places, and that was super smart. I did not like the aspect of if they were out of tables at that time, they put you in the patio, and the patio was like way too like broad. Like I don't know where this patio is, and there's multiple patios. I did not care for that aspect of it. So more tables, please.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Awesome. And then the speed dating, I had a hard time. I thought that would be great. I was looking forward to that.
Me too.
And then like it just seemed like you couldn't make it happen. I didn't even know how. People were like, "Oh, you got to get a ticket." I'm like, "How do you get a ticket?" I'm like, "You come here before." I come here before. There's nobody sitting there. I'm like, "Okay, how do you do this?"
Yeah.
Speed dating is a sore subject for sure. I tried all 3 sessions to get in. I could never get in, and I was so irritated because I registered for all those events ahead of time.
Right.
And sat in the hall.
Same here.
They started one session late. So I sat in the hall so I wouldn't be late to speed dating because they were recording that session. And I sat in the hall and walked up to the door and they're like, "Oh, we're out of tickets." And I was like, what? And then at one point they said, "Come 15 minutes before." I came half an hour before and the line was wrapped around the corner and they were out of tickets. Like, awesome concept, but it could not have been more poorly executed. That was my only gripe about the entire conference. I was so mad.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. The concept that would have been awesome to be able to have like a 2-minute, "Hey, how are you?" To a bunch of brands.
I did a content gap analysis for every single brand that they said had signed up.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know. They dropped the ball on that, and I think they know that. That's probably going to be the worst feedback they get out of this conference altogether because everybody had that same experience, and uh, e- either on the publisher side or on the advertiser side or like the agency side, like nobody got that right. The best one I've ever been to, speed dating wise, was at PI Live in Florida last year. And what they did is they put 50 brands at a table and then publishers 3 minutes meetings, move. It was brilliant. It was incredible. And that's exactly how speed dating should be. Like you shouldn't be locking in. I think they only had 6 per meeting in terms of the brands that they
So
walked through.
they had 18 spots total.
Yeah.
So I think it was like 9 and 9, and then like if one didn't show up.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of improvement for that and look for the feedback. But overall, like the scheduling was super easy for me. I think I booked 30 meetings within the app. Dan, you brought up a good point of like, uh, some of the meeting times were a little bit off, especially if you were planning on going to a session, you had to block that off. Also, they won't let you book any meetings during the keynotes, which I thought was pretty infuriating. It's smart by them. They like jam these blue lights and say, "Get to the keynote. It's open. Please go in." And like they're trying to cattle push all these cats into this room, and I thought it was a little bit aggressive on.
I'll give him a pass on the keynote, like, and for the speaker that, having done that at CJ before, like you want everyone to go see that content. So, I get why they would do that. But it could have been better for sure.
The keynotes were awesome. I'm glad I didn't miss them, but there was plenty of people that were not going in and doing impromptu meetings. And that's almost how all of my best meetings and connections happened, were impromptu. I was talking to other creators who had, 4, 5, 6 meetings booked before the conference even started. And I'm like, wow, I suck. I didn't get any requests.
Oh, you didn't.
But then I met people there. Like, that's the whole point, right? Is to connect there in person. So we're not just another email in the inbox getting skipped over. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think what I came away with, I don't think ever would have happened had I not been there in person. But the messaging aspect on the app was excellent.
So I agree that a lot of great meetings are impromptu meetings, but I would recommend, just for any creators or anybody, any noobs to that trade show, is like definitely try and get those meetings ahead of time. A lot of the agencies will manage on behalf of their client their entire meeting schedule. And so they plan that out in advance, and then they hand that to the client. They say, hey, here's all your meetings for the show. Here's everyone that you're going to meet. And so they have to do that ahead of time. Otherwise, the brands get a little antsy. And so they try and do that well in advance. So I would just say, like, try and get introductions. The way that I do it in these apps is I try and connect with people and then set meetings. I found trying to set a meeting right off the get-go tends to be like a tad aggressive. And I think it's a better way just to be like, hey, here's what I do. Do you want to meet up and chat about it? And that has worked out pretty well.
Yeah,
that's excellent information. I'll definitely use that going forward. I don't know about any other events that are like this, so if you guys do, send them my way.
You got it. Yeah. One thing in the app that also was frustrating, if you tried to book a meeting and it was in pending mode, it looked like you were not available. And if that, like, I tried to book all my meetings, now all of a sudden I don't have any availability. I'm all in pending mode. That was a bit frustrating, and I think there's some room in the app to like make some adjustments there to be helpful, because but Dan, your strategy is spot on. Like if you just try to connect and book a meeting at the same time, recipe for disaster. Like in terms of like, I very rarely got people saying yes to my meeting from just my first connection outreach.
Also, do not set a meeting at 8 a.m. On day
any
2.
Morning.
Or any morning, really.
No.
It's going to get canceled.
Hey, I was there ready at 8 a.m. every single day.
Right. But here's the thing. You can go there at 8 a.m. and then you'll see all the other people who weren't out late and you can go chat with them.
Yes.
And
Great.
Paresh, he will make it somehow by 8 a.m.
He was there. I had breakfast with him.
No, I know.
After I won my meta glasses.
Yeah, Paresh is a machine. Not only best dressed almost every conference that I go to, but like never has he faltered at like being there on time and staying out the latest. What a machine.
So he has this tactic I realize that he does, and it's so smart, and I don't know why I never thought about it, but when he talks to you and meets you, he asks to take a picture. And then he says, let's connect on WhatsApp. And the very first thing he does is he sends the picture that he took with you. So then, he probably has thousands of connects in WhatsApp. But if he scrolls up, he can see the picture of us, see exactly who he's talking to, and be like, oh, yeah. And it's that personal aspect that allows him to actually remember people without remembering their name, phone number, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
brilliant.
That's why he's the GOAT. Like nobody networks better than that guy.
He's brilliant.
Yeah. Paresh, be on the podcast. You just got some incredible clips there. Like, would you please be on this podcast? I've been begging you for years. Like,
by the way, we could also do a Paresh roast if we wanted to. Like that also would be fun. I'm just throwing that out there as a future option.
Dan, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm trying to do that at Affiliate Summit West next year. Affiliate Nerd Out is going to have a roast of somebody. I want to volunteer of who that's going to be. And we'll have a panel. I'll hand select. Dan, you can come on in. You bust chops pretty good.
That's dangerous.
It really is, but it could be a lot of fun too. I don't know.
I'm very tempted by that offer because I would enjoy that personally. But
awesome. Next topic: food, drinks, hospitality. How do you guys think they did well? How do you guys think they did at IPX?
I mean, I wish there had been water inside the rooms with the sessions because I was talking so much I lost my voice. Like I came back and I was supposed to record for 2 clients and I ended up sending them 2 clips and being like, and they're like, yeah, no, let's reschedule this. So we did. But I thought the food was really good. The drinks were really good. I was a little bit annoyed that on the last day they weren't restocking the drinks. So we were seeing like no more Ramblers, no more Diet Cokes. Like, it was because people are probably not staying the whole conference. They're leaving. My regular job, when they throw a conference, they do the same thing. But I thought it was great. I felt very spoiled. I loved that they had several different stations, not just in the main room, but also upstairs.
Yeah, great. Dan?
I'd say the best thing I got was the good coffee in the back at the little coffee station. Early in the morning, there was not a 15-person deep line for it. So that was my win, was to not stand in a 15-person line to get a good cup of coffee in the morning.
Yeah. For those coffee snobs, they did have 2 stations, one in the middle of the center and then off in the back. For those that are not, like, they had coffee stands places, plenty of water. Like the water bottle thing is a great point. Like I didn't see one thing you could fill up your jug, which is a little, so I had bubbly water like the whole conference. So that's a thing.
Delicious, but also the food trucks turned out that food and at an incredible speed. I saw the food trucks and I was like, oh my God, we're going to be here 5 to 7 business years waiting to get our meal. And they had such a good selection. All the tables lined out, like so many good choices. But I don't know that some of those meals felt like quite enough for a meal. I have a figure to maintain. Most people do. So, but the food was excellent quality, I thought.
I'm not going. I don't think anyone's going to the show for the food. But
no.
It was
edible.
I do love that it was free.
Ringing endorsement. Yeah.
I can't beat the price. Like your price of admission give you all these free meals. Outstanding. Like never going to complain. And I was thoroughly impressed on how good the food was, because it was Austin local favorites and stuff like that. So I can't complain. Next topic, sessions. Did you guys go to some good sessions? Did you find good sessions?
I did. I thought Vern Rodriguez gave a great session. So hat tip out to Vern for her work. It was real practical. It was one of the few ones that I saw where she was saying like, hey, this is what you need to do. This is how you go do it as a publisher, which is a critique I have. I think a lot of stuff that Impact does is geared towards advertisers. A lot of what they talk about, that is their main client, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I think Vern's was great from a publisher perspective and really practical. And then the product discussion, I always find interesting. I'm really always surprised at how much Impact sort of puts into their product roadmap, both last year and this year. I thought there's some good things and bad things we can get into there later. But Lauren, I don't know about you.
My two favorite sessions, one of them I think was considered a keynote. It was the AI one.
Mm-hmm.
I left that thinking, wow, I'm severely underutilizing AI, and it allows us to work more efficiently and dream bigger. It's not just, a lot of people are using it like Google, asking it questions. It can do so much more. Right. So that was one of my favorite ones. And then the other one was one that neither one of you would have been invited to. It was the women's session. I don't remember exactly what it was called. It was amazing, empowering. We built some really deep connections with every person in the room. It went over the allotted time. I think it needed longer, but it was pretty powerful and it was amazing.
That's good to hear. And I don't think anybody went to that AI session and came out like, I'm not doing enough with AI. Like,
you don't think anyone did or anyone didn't?
I'm saying like everybody that went to that session said the same thing. Like, I'm not doing enough. No matter how much you're doing, like, there's no way you can be building 35 agents stacked on top of each other like she's doing.
That's her whole job.
Right.
That's her whole job. But there's a lot more that we could be doing. And so what I did after the conference on the way home, because I drove home after Denim and Diamonds, it was about an hour and a half drive. I had Claude interview me, just like she had suggested. And it allowed, a back-to-back voice conversation. They kind of are able to pick up the way in which I talk or write. So whenever I'm asking it to write something for me, it's going to sound more like me. And I was able to give it like, a brain dump of information about the conference and my businesses and things that I took away and learned, what I want to incorporate. It was awesome.
Great. That's good to hear. What about the future of Impact? And they had a lot of, hey, we're building this thing and this thing's live and this thing is great. I always have to take those things with a grain of salt because I know how long it's going to take from a launch perspective to mean a product that's actual viably usable and stuff like that. So any big takeaways from the future messaging that Impact had over there?
I mean, I would say there's a bunch of fluff that they came out with that is never really going to be useful, in my opinion. Like one of the items that they had were the impact only storefronts, and I think they led with that early on. I'm like, I mean, that's nice. The idea of a storefront is a good idea, but most publishers, creators, etc., they work with multiple networks and platforms, and so like having one that is just for impact doesn't really help you necessarily. You want to be able to incorporate all of the data that you're getting from all of the different networks and all of the advertisers that you're on. So I always find those sort of like impact only or CJ only or whatever, platform only stuff as to be the least helpful stuff. But I like their idea of like, hey, they're bringing in MCP integrations. So to the AI conversation, what data are we going to be able to bring in? I do think that needs more transparency on data. So I think the successfulness of an MCP integration is going to be kind of like, what data do they allow you to pull from that? And if it's just like your standard transaction stuff, that's less interesting. I think that they should open up a lot more of the clickstream data, even if it's anonymized with other publishers. But there's so little transparency to the publishers on transactions where they were a click. I think that would help everyone, publishers, better understand like where they are in a purchase cycle, and if there are other people who are generating like 500 clicks in a single transaction, which does happen. So
Blake chiming in with, I know these people.
Blake.
We know.
I just emailed him today. He's with
good.
Strand Media, and he's fantastic. What a cool guy. The first thing he said, I'm not even gonna repeat the first thing that he said to me because I don't know if his clients would like it, but he's such a cool guy, and he's so gung-ho for these brands that are not sexy, like to the average consumer, and he's dreaming of ways to make them sexy. Like, he's so good at his job. He's one of the first people I connected with, and then I just found him the whole time. He's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Also, if you like custom guitars, talk to him.
Really? My dad plays guitar. I'll have to ask him about that.
It's great to see that after all these years, Blake is still fooling people. That's incredible. Like, Blake, great work out there, you know.
I'm just waiting for him to get that UGC test budget.
Awesome. Get after it, Blake. Nice plug.
Nothing like getting a to-do from a webinar on your list, right? Like
that you voluntarily
you're watching
joined.
the webinar and you're like, oh, I got a to-do item out of this.
Apparently, yeah. All right. We got 3 minutes left. We got to cut this off. Any changes or formatting that you guys would change from the event altogether? We had some really positive things to say here, but anything you guys would suggest as a change?
I mean, speed dating has to get fixed. I think you guys gave some really great app suggestions for improvement. They are listening, because I signed up on Impact and I got rejected like 8 minutes later, and I was like, all I did was connect my socials. Like, how did I already screw up? And they fixed it. There was some kind of bug. But the developers were like chasing me down and asking me about their AI, and I believe they will build everything that they say they're going to, because of how much they're listening and how much they care.
Great. I did really like the aspect of their integrating AI into the entire platform, which is, I went and checked out, and some really cool things and features that they were talking about are live already. So impressed on that end. Anything from you, Dan?
I think some of the cool things that they were talking about that need more retail media. So I did some of that while I was at Groupon. We had incorporated that into our affiliate business. I do think that's an element where there's a lot more budget, and this idea of growing the affiliate pie, like the amount of money that's available. I think that's one of the places that you can go and do that. So it's not just publishers fighting over what's existing in the affiliate budget, but going out and finding new budget. So I'd like to encourage everybody, publishers, everybody else, go out and figure out how you can do more retail media and get more budget from that line item into affiliate, because I think there's a good crossover there.
Yeah. Retail media, hot buzzword now, going into it.
How to get money, co-op dollars from brands, all that fun sort of stuff. So, I mean, I think there's a lot more to that. And I think actually the second last piece there is that I think that single-use coupons, that should be a bigger item. I think it has to do with AEO. I'm not going to say GEO because that sounds like GO.
Sure.
It's just not there. Anyway, but I think the idea of doing this AI SEO, having coupon codes, single-use coupon codes is going to be a bigger feature, and advertisers, I think, need to do more of it. Platforms need to facilitate it better.
What's Honey going to do?
Great call. Oh, I'm sure they're just going to.
Well, that's part of the reason why you do it, actually.
I know, I'm teasing.
Yeah. No, I know. Right. I get it.
Yeah, no, I'm teasing. Yeah.
Okay. Any final words before we get going?
Thanks for having me. This was awesome. You two were two of the favorite people that I met, and there was no monetary exchange or contract. It was just simple goodness, connecting with awesome people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's not always about money. At the end of the day, people are what matters more.
It was a great show. It was really productive. Certainly we can sit here and criticize. I know how much work it is to put on one of these. They basically probably spent like the whole year doing that. They're probably doing that right now. So it's a huge amount of work, and there were a bunch of good meetings out of it. So overall, very good.
I have a whole YouTube just a personal plug that I'm going to be putting up. I have to make my ADHD Farm Girl YouTube first because I didn't think there was a need. That's not true. But I have, probably an hour worth of brain dumping about the conference if anyone wants more.
Good. Love to hear it, and I'll share that with my community as well. And it was great meeting you out there, Lauren, and Dan. Always good to see you. Thanks for tuning in, and go check out Alfie. This is your affiliate recruitment super tool, alfie.io. All right, folks. Thanks for joining in. Keep on recruiting, and we'll see you out there.